we are again. Round 4. Universal Unconditional Love. Today, I want to talk to you about Gnosticism, because unconditional love stems from Gnosticism, and it's about perfecting our lives. But with Gnosticism, we are given lifetime after lifetime to get the act right, rather than with the Abrahamic faiths, Christianity, Islam and Judaism. We only have one chance at getting it right, and then it's either heaven or hell. So our salvation is conditional. The difference with Gnosticism is that for everybody there's a happy ending. You are reunited with the source. Even though it may take lifetime after lifetime before you become enlightened or perfect your lives, which is really getting to the stage where you practice and live pure, unconditional, universal love. Universal meaning for everybody, but especially for yourself. Why I say especially for yourself is because if you love yourself, you love everybody. It's automatic. If you're hurting yourself, it's very easy to lash out and hurt somebody else. If you're paining for one reason or another, usually something happened in our youth, our childhood, it's easy to create pain for another. But if you really are happy with yourself and in love with yourself, and I don't mean in a selfish way, but you really have learned to understand yourself and who you are, what you're about, all these things. And you've learned to understand, well, this love of yourself needs to be based on understanding and self-awareness, obviously. You automatically love everybody. It's an automatic thing. But let's go back to where it all started. Well, no one really knows. But certainly what we do know is where it was put together as a complete philosophic path, if you like, was with Socrates. And this is according to Plato, his student, because Socrates wrote nothing down. Everything was written. Everything about Socrates as we know him is basically from Plato, his student. Both pretty smart people. And Socrates, he's renowned for the Socratic method. Basically, you question things. You just don't take things for granted. Someone might say something, for instance myself, or anybody, a teacher, parents. You examine it, question it. Is this really right? Is this correct? Is there an alternative? Socrates was a funny guy. He was funny. He was short, brave, he fought in the wars, and divorced his wife, went to live in a wine barrel, of all things. I presume the wine barrel was overturned, and it was a very large wine barrel. And there's one wonderful story about Alexander the Great, who had conquered the known world, and he was taught by Aristotle, another great Greek philosophic thinker. And Alexander was supposed to have admired Socrates and wished to meet him, which he did. And the great Alexander was in front of Socrates, and he said to Socrates, well, we don't really know what he said, but part of the conversation went something like this: I've always admired you, and I'm in a position to grant you virtually any material wish that you desire, anything you can think of that I can help you with. What is it that you desire? Socrates. He thought about it. And he said, would you mind moving a little to the left? You're blocking my sun. So that was all. There was nothing that Alexander the Great could give him, because he wasn't interested in material things, because material things didn't give you happiness anyway. So Socrates, this mighty thinker, he said, because at that time you had the Greek god Zeus, who was the head of heaven. He was the greatest god. But they were personal gods. They looked at them as people, and they had emotions like people. But Socrates says no. He said there must have been an entity that always was, that simply existed. From this entity there was a breakaway, a lesser god if you like. He called it the demiurge, or the artificer. And this demiurge or artificer made the known universe, created the known universe as we know it out of chaos or the void. We were created, and with our creation were given the gift of immortality for eternity. Well, within this context, which is a fairly large context, is large. Eternity and immortality is a very large picture, very difficult to even comprehend for us humans, because for us there's always a beginning and there's an end. But he said, we just don't have a mind, a body and a soul, but there is a divine spark, a part of that's unknown, that entity that always existed. There's a part of that. We're a part of this. And this is our inner core, even beyond our soul. This is our eternal identity that goes on lifetime after lifetime until we perfect ourselves. And then we will be drawn and taken back to the source. But there's no salvation and there's no damnation. There's a happy ending for all. But this perfecting ourselves brings us back to this universal love. Because when we can live and breathe and think and act and live our whole lives with universal love, in effect, your life is a prayer, I suppose. That could take many, many, many lifetimes. If we look around the world, for a lot of us, it's going to take many lifetimes for us to perfect our lives. This is Gnosticism. This is the basis of Gnosticism, and it has remained unchanged. But we'll expand it a little more at another date. So, bye for now. Matthias signing off.